Good afternoon to none of my viewers. Terry Daniel here, voice actor and coach from UVT Coaching. This might be the first time I've ever actually done a YouTube live video. This is completely unannounced, unadvertised. Just wanted to kind of try it out and see who was out there, but mainly um, so I could post the video of talking about the proper steps to take if you're really looking to start a voiceover business in 2026. I will typically write a blog about this and post a couple different YouTube videos on various steps. Now, if you're brand new to the business, it's very important that you definitely do your homework because there is fantastic information out there and there's also very misleading information. A lot of charlatan coaches out there making empty promises about income guarantees or promising you that you'll make six figures in like a month. I mean, it's really quite sad, but they're out there. Um, so basically, on my 35 years of experience being a voice actor, um, I'm going to share with you just a few nuggets. God, I hate the word nuggets, but if a listener happens to pop in here and you want to ask a question in the chat, definitely feel free to do so. I realize we may not get anybody, but we're going to try. So, honestly, this is going to sound really basic, right? But the key to get going is to get going because a lot of people run into roadblocks. They hear that they have a great voice for 20, 30 years and then they just kind of sit on stuff and don't do anything about it. Doing research is very, very important. And you just really, again, this is going to sound kind of basic, but you really have to just make sure that you want to do it. Know what you're getting into. Definitely know this is not a make money by tomorrow business like a lot of the voiceover books that you see out there. I don't know very many voiceover books that don't have $100 bills floating in front of the microphone on the book cover, and that can be very, very misleading. That sounds like people who want to sell books to me, but decide you want to do it, and just know that if you are going to do it, A, you have to be passionate about doing it, and B, you have to know that, pardon the cliche, that this is a marathon, not a sprint. It could take a year before you make any money. Now, students of ours at UVT have booked work and got on talent agency rosters literally like weeks after they've received their professional demo. I'm not making any guarantees that that would happen if you worked with us at UVT Coaching, but we do have a really good track record of that happening. That said, we do have many, many students who take a very long time to book their very first gig. Some have not booked any gigs yet. So I'm not making any guarantees, but if you put in the work and you do everything you're supposed to do, which I'm going to go over in just a second, you'll have a chance to succeed. The real focus at the beginning should come by way of performance skills. Listen to the way you hear national radio commercials, or if you're watching television, those national TV spots where it's almost effortless for the voice actor. They come across as so genuine, conversational, authentic. All three of those words pretty much mean the same thing, right? But you're believing what they're saying. And it doesn't sound like they're reading the script or yelling it or, anything else. It sounds real conversational. Um, so that is a really, really good start. You really need to perfect your skill set, whether you're thinking about getting into radio and television commercials, video game characters, IVR, audiobooks, promo, e-learning, explainer video narration, which by the way, those two genres are very hot right now, e-learning and explainer video. And you need to know how to read these scripts, and you have to sound convincing when you read them. Too many people, I was guilty of this myself when I got started many, many years ago. We get a little too obsessed with recording gear. And while having really good sound is important, some of us, me included, because I'm guilty of this, have been a little too obsessed with audio gear, getting their sound absolutely perfect. That is always going to be a work in progress. But I don't want that to steer you in the wrong direction because, again, this is all about performance skills. And you should absolutely work with a coach, whether it's us at UVT Coaching or just find somebody out there that actually has voiceover experience, coaches that actually book work. That can be a big, big plus because there's a lot of people that have never booked any voiceover work, but they found a way to make money doing coaching. And that can be very uh, disheartening for people like us who have been in the industry for more than 3 decades, and we really wanna be truthful and be honest with people on their performance reads and everything going forward. So that's kinda where we're at with that. And then it's really important to not only work with a coach, but there's 2 reasons you work with a coach. It's to get your performance reads down, and the goal at the end of any kind of voiceover training program would be to get to recording a demo, because a demo is gonna be your number 1 calling card. It's the number 1 marketing tool a voice actor has, much to the way an actor has a reel of all their shows and commercials and everything that they've been in. On camera models have a lot of headshots that they send to talent agents. Voiceover is very similar by way of sending a professional demo to a talent agent or that prospective buyer. They're going to want to hear samples of your work, and you're going to want to demonstrate variety on the demo. Every single clip on the demo can't sound like the same commercial or the same read. This is how you kind of fall into that one note, one dimensional talent. Versatility sells in this business, especially on talent agency rosters, where the more variety you have on a demo, the higher your booking percentage will be. And that makes the talent agent happy because they take, anywhere from 10 to 15% commission on what you book. I mean, that's basically how the agency makes their money. Um, and as far as getting booked for work, this is the day and age where you can't just rely on getting calls or emails from your talent agent to make a living. It's really, really hard to make a go at this if you're just going to do the agency game. You need to do both, honestly. It's nice to get on a couple agency rosters and hopefully you'll book a few gigs here and there, but you have to be able to reach out to producers, direct clients, e-learning and explainer video clients. They like to hire talents direct. Commercials, clients like to hire talents direct for that as well. It's not quite as common as it is in the narration field. But if you can create a nice balance of booking through your talent agent and working directly with the client, you're going to do really well. But you really have to stick with it because there's a lot of people that, if they're not making a bunch of money within like a couple of weeks, they pretty much will just quit and move on to something else. And that leads me to my next point. And my next point is how everybody talks about how competitive the voiceover industry is. And there's a lot of truth to that. There is a lot of people doing voiceovers and also a lot of people who are trying to do voiceovers. But here's my theory on the whole competitive thing, and hear me out on this. The reason I don't think it's as competitive as a lot of other businesses out there, like if you want to be a real estate agent, if you want to get into SEO work, or you want to do this and that, um, musician, on camera talent, you name it. Here's why I think it's not all that competitive because too many people quit after like a month because they're not making any money doing voiceovers. They don't have the patience. They looked at this business as a quick fix for just losing their job or being unemployed. And basically 60% of your competition just fell off the cliff, really. So they're no longer your competition. So this is why it's so important to keep going, keep auditioning, keep working with a coach, keep practicing. And once you have professional demos, you really have to stick to the marketing. Now, I've seen webinars, workshops where they're talking about doing 100 cold calls a day, and that's just silly. We all have ADHD in this business, right? I mean, I do. I shouldn't say everybody, but it is a common thing amongst creatives, ADD and issues like that. So, what I always recommend to my students is creating a manageable marketing plan. Maybe make one or two calls a week when you're first starting out. Maybe send a couple of emails a week to prospective clients. Speaking of email, there's a lot of talk about email marketing out there and how you should send attachments to your demos and do A, B, C, D. I use email for one thing only, and that is to get a meeting with a prospective client. I don't attach a bunch of demos to the email. I don't sit and follow up 100 times a week. I don't send them some formulaic email that also went out to 200 other prospective clients, AK using a email service like MailChimp or Constant Contact. I keep my emails very genuine. I type them out myself. There's no AI garbage involved with this because the sole goal is to get a meeting with the particular client. And then after things go well with the client, and if you're likable, sounds kind of weird, right? Sometimes clients will hire you. Obviously, you need to be talented. You need to have a good demo, but you have to be able to they have to be able to get along with you well. There needs to be chemistry between you and the client. So be likable, joke around with the client. This is voiceover. You don't have to take it all that seriously. I end up talking politics and sports with clients and they eventually sometimes even become my friend, and that will get you in the door. Remember, if they agreed to the meeting, they're interested in hiring you. Even if they don't have a project for you right away, it's a good sign when they want to take the meeting. That means that they have projects where they do hire voice actors for. And there's no such thing as a dead lead. Definitely keep like an Excel. I'm not really a Microsoft Excel fan, but I enjoy the Google Docs. um, they basically do the same thing as Excel, but just far more user friendly, in my opinion. I like to keep a Google spreadsheet of prospective clients. Keep even at least what you think are the dead leads on there. I get calls from clients who I don't even remember marketing to like 7 years ago that finally have a project where they need a voice actor. So, unless the client tells you to F off and hangs up on you, there's no reason to delete those clients from your prospective list. Um, so, those are just a few nuggets. I'm going to kind of cheat here and go to my blog. By the way, if you're interested in working with us at UVT, go to uvtcoaching.com and check us out. We've all been around for over 30 years. Amy, Rob, Garnett, myself. I do all the demo production for UVT. You can learn a little bit more about who we are and how we help talents at all levels. But I have a blog on there called Voiceover 2026 Roadmap. And I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving anything out. Yeah, I pretty much said it all here. I do want to get back to the recording gear just for a moment here, because I don't want anybody to think that I don't think it's important, because it is. But what's happening out there is a lot of people are spending all their money on recording gear, sound panels like the one I have behind me, MK416 microphone, maybe an Apollo Twin preamp. They sound great. They've spent 8 months spending thousands of dollars and getting their home recording area set up. And guess what? Their audio sounds fantastic. Guess what doesn't sound fantastic? The performance reads. Yes. You hand them a script. Hey, read this commercial. Give me kind of an authentic, warm hearted, neighborly guy or gal kind of read. And it's an absolute freaking disaster because they didn't spend 1 minute on learning performance skills or working with a coach. It's always good to have a second set of ears. And this isn't your spouse, best friend, or your second cousin listening to you read and attempting to give you feedback. You need a qualified voiceover coach to hear your reads, and so they can tell you what you're doing right and, more importantly, what you're doing wrong. Because honest voiceover coaches who aren't just cheerleaders. Oh my God, I can't stand these people. Oh, that was great, man. That's great. Let's get to the demo. That's just there's no way to improve your skills and grow that way. Um, I'm extremely candid with my students. Sometimes they don't always appreciate what I have to say after a read or two of a commercial narration or a video game script. But guess what? They keep getting better and better as each session goes along. So that goes back to my point at the beginning. When you're vetting coaches, make sure that you are hiring a coach that doesn't make a bunch of empty promises, like promising you success. Income shouldn't even be a part of the conversation. I don't know. I mean, I realize clickbait is a huge thing, especially across the socials these days. Oh, you can make six figures. And, it's so misleading. At UVT coaching, when we work with our students, I don't even talk about money. Sure, we all know that good training, good demos will hopefully lead to a decent income. But we are always primarily focused on the art itself when somebody starts working with us. Because the second you start pivoting into different lanes, like, oh, well, how long do you think it'll be until I book my first gig? Or, hey, how much do you think I'll make my first year? I get asked that a lot, and it's really hard. I don't have a measuring stick for that because it's so different. It could be 90,000, it might be 10 bucks. I have no way of predicting how well somebody is going to do. But I will tell you this, and I'll leave you with this because this is going on almost 20 minutes now. If you put in the work and you realize that this is going to take some time, it's going to take some patience and perseverance. If you put in the work and work with a coach on your performance skills, marketing, getting your home recording area set up. Notice how I put that third, that should never be first because performance skills should always be first. And then just market like a madman or woman, and you're going to do really well. If you just take your time and just know that it could take a while. That's what I get so miffed when I see these misleading Facebook ads from these so-called coaches just promising the world after a week of training, or some of these training companies where you're supposed to take their weekend workshop, and their talents after the weekend workshop are going into a studio on Monday to record the demo. That's just that is that's not even fair. That is so disheartening when I read stuff like that. I don't know anybody that would be ready for a demo after a weekend seminar or a weekend workshop. So definitely work with coaches that know what the hell they're doing. Trust me. I've been in this business since about 1989. Oof, ouch. And yeah, can you tell? 1989. I've got all kinds of nostalgic vintage props in my studio. It's kind of fun. But anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I mean, many of you will probably see this video after it's posted, really. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, Terry, Terry, at uvtcoaching.com. And of course, our website, uvtcoaching.com, if you want to see what we're all about. So, um, thank you, those of you that showed up here. I realized there wasn't very many. I just kind of popped in and wanted to test a YouTube live, but this was a lot of fun. So thank you for being a part of it. I'm Terry Daniel, voice actor and coach from UVT Coaching. Take care, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.